Let's go over adding and subtracting rational expressions. So here we have two rational expressions being added together, and just like any fraction, in order to add or subtract, we have to have common denominators. So in this case we do. So from here, we're going to have the same denominator, and we just add the numerators. 3 plus 5 is 8. Alright, let's look at one a little bit more difficult than this. So let's say we have 5b minus 2 over 9b plus 45 minus b minus 2 over 9b plus 45. So again, we have common denominators, so we could just add or subtract the numerators as necessary. So in this case, we're going to subtract them. But the denominator is going to be 9b plus 45. Now here, when we subtract, there's a very easy place to make a mistake, and it's with distributing this minus sign. So this isn't just minus b and then a minus 2, it's 5b minus 2 minus this entire thing. So let's just write that first. So we have 5b minus 2 minus this entire expression, b minus 2. So now from here we can distribute this negative sign. So we still have 5b minus 2. This is going to be minus b. Then we distribute it here, we get plus 2. It's still over 9b plus 45. But now we can combine like terms. So 5b and negative b is going to give us 4b. Negative 2 and positive 2 actually cancel out. Just have 4b in the numerator, and we have 9b plus 45 in the denominator. Let's look at this example where we don't have common denominators. So what we want to do first is rewrite this with common denominators. So we need the least common multiple, or any multiple of these two, any common multiple. So we have 6n, 2mn. So what can we multiply these by to give us something that is equal to each other? So let's look at the numbers first. 2 and 6. The least common multiple of 2 and 6 is going to be 6. Then we have n and we have mn. So they both already have an n, but this one doesn't have an m. So we could multiply this by an m and get mn, and then of course we have mn. So this is the greatest common multiple, or least common multiple, sorry. So how do we get from 6n to 6mn? Well, we have to multiply this by m. To get from 2mn to 6mn, we have to multiply this by 3. So that's what we're going to do here. We're going to multiply this by m, and of course the numerator by m, and multiply this denominator by 3, and this numerator by 3. So now this numerator becomes 2m, and it's over 6mn. This becomes 12, and it's over 6mn. So now we can add these together, because we have like denominators, common denominators. So this becomes 6mn. Then 2m plus 12 is simply 2m plus 12. They're not like terms, so we can't combine them. But let's look at this a little bit further. In this case, we can't actually reduce this, because there's a factor that goes into this and also this. And I first want to point out you can't just do this. You can't just do 6 and 12, this becomes a 1, this becomes a 2. Okay, in order to reduce terms like this, you have to be able to factor out of everything. So not just this with one term or this with that term. So you can only cross out things or reduce things if they're being multiplied. Here we have a plus sign, so we can't just reduce this and this or this and that. So what goes into both of these terms, 2m and 12? Well, 2 does. So take out the 2, and we have m plus 6. Then the denominator, we have 6mn still. Now, since it's 2 times this, we can reduce. This becomes a 1, this becomes a 3, and we have m plus 6 over 3 mn.